Lithosphere connects artificial intelligence, decentralized finance, and digital creativity across a single adaptive multi-chain framework. Powered by LinBFT, the network achieves near-instant finality. At its core, Multics enables seamless cross-chain transfers of assets, NFTs, and smart contract. Imogen Network fuels creativity through AI-generated media and verifiable NFT ownership. Call AI simplifies NFT creation with AI-powered multi-chain tools for artists and innovators. Together, they form an intelligent, self-evolving ecosystem. Lithosphere.
Scan the link on the screen or click the link in the description box to download the app now.
It'll be beautiful.
Yeah. But speaking of a conversation, man, let's talk about Miss Lauryn Hill. Now, it's been, 20 years since she put out the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. It came out in 98, maybe 99. It was a conversation from an Instagram post from Fram World where Lauryn Hill actually jumped into the comment section. People were asking, how come she never followed with an album? What happened? Well, here's what Lauryn Hill said. She said, it's pretty long. When you're inspired and desire to be principled, what doesn't get talked about enough is the drain or the knowledge to find safety so that you can create with integrity. Most see opportunity as dollars only and often exclude the sense. The score nor the miseducation were made because we were allowed to represent what we did. We fought for every inch. While success can cause greed, begins to generate the art for money, where people live through all of this. These conversations should allow for more nuance. Artists go through phases. Creativity requires expression, exploration, and experimentation. There were people who hated the Unplugged album, yet today swear by its significance. I was like Harriet Tubman figure in some respects, running to speak difficult truths to power before certain forces tried to close the door. If it was so easy to do, where is that expression now on a world stage? Systems fear what they can't control. Creativity is most potent when it's free. If I did nothing else, I introduced standards and possibilities toward generations that didn't know they could operate on that level before then. I am often doing things outside the support of the system before people can even realize what I've done. Another artist who values inspiration, then recognizes its value and represent it to the audience, then ready to receive it. It's a long thing that Lauryn Hill wrote. What'd you get out of that? I know it's a lot to kind of digest.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, but it's a lot of things that kind of stood out there.
Yeah, I understand. And what is tough about this industry is it's not conducive for real artists.
Right.
When you look at your Michael Jacksons, when you look at your Princes, when you look at your Lauryn Hills, these are true artists who care about the music, who care about the sound, who care about how their art is distributed in front of the world. It's no different than a painter. You know what I mean? A painter spends countless hours perfecting this perfect piece so that people can recognize it for its beauty and take different interpretations out of that piece. That's why it makes it art, right? And a musician is no different. And when you look at the days and times when the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill came out, it was kind of during that time where it was the beginning of ushering in a different type of way women, you know what I mean, dropped music, distributed music. They wanted it to be sexy, provocative, you know what I mean? They wanted the clothes to be a lot less. They wanted the sex appeal to be a lot more. And Lauryn gave us a different way of sex appeal. She gave us sexiness through her talent. She gave us sexiness through her mind, as well as her beauty, because she was absolutely amazing. I had a crush on Lauryn Hill back in the day. She was just so fucking beautiful.
Yeah, definitely.
Naturally. In Sister Act, I loved her. You know what I mean? Her voice gave me chills when I heard that shit in Sister Act. You know what I mean? So she gave a different way of music, but then you think about, you know what I mean, she had to go through different avenues to get this music out. So she had to go through different producers, engineers, and things like that. And if they weren't what the industry or what the label wanted, she may have had to fight against that. Maybe she wanted a black engineer where they wanted to have a white engineer. Maybe she wanted a certain rhythm section where they wanted this, or maybe she wanted certain instrumentation or a certain message given, and the industry didn't think that that would be productive enough or profitable enough, so they wanted her to go into a different lane. And then when they see the success behind the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, definitely one of the best albums collectively, hip-hop, R&B, pop, no matter what, during that last 10-year period, like from 98 to 2008, Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, I guarantee you, was probably number one if you really broke it down musically on anybody's list, because it was a masterful piece of artwork. You think about the money that drew in and the expectation behind it from the label. Also, now that she has to replicate this, but now she has more ears and more eyes and more hands in her project, which dilutes her creativity, which can kind of block her artistry, which you kind of seen in real time, because then it kind of seemed like, damn, what's up with Lauryn Hill? She seems confused on stage. She seems this, she seems that. Well, the love of it was being stripped away by this fucking machine. And you could see all of these years that just accumulate and it piling up, and it just kind of went into that one big ass piece. And it reminds me of, look what they did to Michael Jackson. They seen how beautiful he was, how powerful he was as an artist, the impact that he had, and he had to do it more and more and more. And the more popular he got, they wanted more to put more hands in his pocket and more hands in his thing. And the more he called that shit out, the more they tried to demonize him. To eventually they made him out to be fucking crazy. Prince, no different. They tried to put their hands in his pocket to where this brother no longer even wanted to be called Prince. He was an artist and put his symbol out there, because they just had so much shit to interfere with his artistry. Lauryn Hill, to me, is no different. She was on the verge of being one of these artists, but they blocked her from allowing her artistry to truly shine, and she suffered from that. And it really affected her, because she could no longer do what she loved to do in the purest way possible. They wanted to destroy that shit and dilute that shit and poison it as much as possible and turn her into just another artist, to when they were done where they could throw away, and she refused to do it. And her career suffered from it. And it sucks that it did, because we just allow such an amazing artist to be silent when we could have had so much more No, would it ever reach the success of the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill? Maybe not. Could you imagine if we had our album in 2002 and then one in 2010 and then one in 2018? It would stop music like we talked about some of these fucking rappers do, right? But unfortunately, we didn't get that, man. So I understand. I just think that her being that artist that she is, that paintbrush just got ruined and got stained, and she no longer wanted to paint with it anymore, man.
Yeah, I remember I went to see her in Nas, maybe 2018. I actually still have it in my phone. I got so much, I got like 2 terabytes, like 16,000 videos in my phone right now from like 2016. I got everything. Remember I showed you the video the other day?
Yep.
And all of that. But I really think that it comes down to these people know the power and effectiveness of music. Could you imagine if Lauryn Hill would have been replicated? If people were like, as big a success that album was, if now you had 15 Lauryn Hills as opposed to 15 Little Kims.
Right.
15 Foxy Brown.
They don't want that, though.
They don't want that.
Right.
They don't want that, because all throughout history, music, when you even go back and listen to I say this all the time, to the music in the 70s, the 80s, and even some in the 90s, like, listen to the message. Listen to what was, the overall overarching theme in a lot of the music. Yes, you had some degenerate music, but you also had some great music that uplifted you, that was timeless, that told you about love, that told you about marriage, that told you, about even courting a woman and, or things, fighting the oppression that's going on within the black community. Now it's just the total opposite. You don't have that anymore. You have everybody trying to you got women pregnant, shaking their ass.
Yep.
They can't do nothing, but they ain't got to say a word. They just shaking their ass. It's bubblegum music. It's garbage. So when I hear Lauryn Hill, and again, going back to the concert, she couldn't even like do all her songs. She did like a few minutes of it. And I don't know if it was like a contractual thing. Probably. And it was just weird, because I'm going to hear some Lauryn Hill. Like, oh yeah, I can't wait to hear this shit. Nothing. It was just like, it was crazy. It was crazy. I would play it, but I'll probably get a copyright for playing that stuff, man. But that's been the question that we all wanted to know. Where's the follow-up, Lauryn? What happened, Lauryn? And now we know, like, it's a lot that went on. The industry didn't want that shit to go forward. And maybe it was intentional, maybe it wasn't, but whatever, like you said, happened, she lost the love and she lost the creativity, to be able to put that type of music out. That's what I think, man. I think you broke it down phenomenally. But that's what I when I first read it, I think last week, that's what I got. I'm like, wow, like this fucking industry, man. I tell you,
it gives you a lot of answers, though. Like, why hasn't Lauryn? Like, you can suspect, but that little piece right there, and she didn't give us a lot, but you can kind of break it down and go, all right, well, that's why you seen her on stage kind of acting kind of weird. That's why you seen this. Yeah, we get on Queen Lauryn Hill about being late and that type of shit, but we going to give her some passes, because we just don't. There's a lot we probably don't know. I mean, she's not out here doing podcasts or running interviews or trying to create her own narrative every day. You know what I mean? She kind of allows us to kind of say what we want to say, and there's power in that as well, because she really genuinely probably doesn't care if she all these years, you know what I mean? She's allowed other people to speak.
Yep.
And really never responded. So that, although she really didn't give us a lot, she gave us a lot at the same time.